Hello, everyone. My name is Sharon, and I'm a Toastmaster with Club 960 Tennessee Valley Toastmasters in Huntsville, Alabama. And I am going to do a quick little ditty on resources that are supplemental to Pathways. If you have not watched Shantane's video on Pathways education program, I highly recommend that you do so to help you learn that piece of it, because that would be your starting point. And this would be additional to help you and support you in the program. Pathways has a plethora of resources already, and definitely go through them, go through your project, go through your slides. And then if you need more, this would be of help to you. So now I'm going to share my screen. I've made a PowerPoint. So let me share that with you and get that opened up. So here is an overview of the Toastmasters resources that I'm going to touch on, and this is going to be very high level, just to give you the breadcrumbs, and you can follow them to what you're looking for. So the first thing is our Toastmasters International website. Toastmasters.org has a ton of resources. It has a resource library, public speaking tips, and you can find your Toastmasters magazine articles there also, which are very helpful. And then I'll go over mentor assistance and the Toastmasters meetings, how they are also a resource to you. So on the Toastmasters.org website, well, I've got a screenshot here. So when you go in, and you don't have to sign in to do this, but if you navigate over to resources, see it's highlighted in gray, then it gives you more links to choose from. So as you can see, they've got a whole bunch. There's more than just the couple that I mentioned. So you can go to any of these, and then it will take you to different places. So you can always come back to the resources main link and then navigate from there. So if you go to resource library, you can search by different categories, resource types, you see file names and keywords. Now I'm going to tell you, please be patient and set aside time to navigate their website, because there are a lot of things that it has to search for. You can search by, you can choose what you want, different combinations. You could do category, or you could just do a keyword. But I recommend that you try to narrow it down as much as you can and try different word combinations, and realize that since it's international, there are multiple languages. So if you search for icebreaker, you may get that. Besides English, you may get French or Arabic or Spanish. So that's something you would just have to take some more time to go through. I don't know if you can, I tried to do a language kind of filter, and I don't really know that that is available, but I wouldn't want you to get frustrated because you can't find it quickly. There's a lot here, and if you think it's multiplied because it's in so many languages, because Toastmasters is around the world. So try different things. And another thing you could do is, if you have trouble finding something here, whatever it may be, you can ask other Toastmasters in your club who are experienced, or they may have done it, and they'll tell you the keyword combination to navigate that. So just make sure you give it time, but it is here, and it is a very good resource. The next one is if you go to public speaking tips. As you can see, there's a whole list, and there's a little bit more. It goes further down, and then at the bottom it has other links to other areas that are helpful. This is what I could fit on the screen, but this gives you a screen, so it's not too long, it's not too much to read, but it gives you additional information. Like, it tells you how to prepare your speech, and then also if you're doing a meeting role, how you would present the awards and whatnot. So as you can see, the website for Toastmasters has a lot of helpful things, and it's here. It's just a matter of taking the time and going to it and clicking around and finding it. And if you don't find what you need at first, don't give up. or you could take a break and you can come back to it. This website is here. And so the next slide is just touch on Toastmasters Magazine. I believe the current format during this pandemic is online. However, they will mail it to you monthly. And it's a monthly magazine with communication and leadership articles. There's a whole bunch of different things they get. Sometimes they'll have articles on sub things of that, like it's just different things. Like one around the holidays was being a better conversationalist. So there's always something that the magazine has that is unique. And they have member spotlights, so you can read about the journey that other members have taken and what they've overcome or whatnot. And it's helpful information overall. Sometimes this gets overlooked, the magazine, but it is a very good resource. And it comes with your membership. So that comes with, so you're paying for it. So it's something that you should definitely take advantage of. So next I'll get to your mentor. So this is like a person resource. And if you don't have one, just talk to your VPE, your Vice President of Education, and they will be happy to work with you on assigning you a Toastmaster for your mentor. Mentors are typically experienced Toastmasters who have given at least 3 speeches, and they feel comfortable enough with their knowledge of the program and experience to be able to help you. So they are a great resource. Definitely reach out to them. They're available to review your speeches. The first 3 are highly suggested. Depends if you write or not, but now we could do video. You could do, there's so many means of video communication, and you could actually deliver it and they could give you feedback. Or if you write it out, you could email it to them and they can read it and review it and give you tips on how to make your speech stronger, give you feedback on that. That is something that is really suggested of mentors to help their people through. And ask questions that you have about anything. If you have questions about meeting roles, then ask them. If you have any concerns about obstacles, or if you're having a hard time preparing a speech, they are there to help you work through that. And Toastmasters Meetings. Now, this may not seem like a typical resource because you can't just like go look it up, right? It's not a document. However, it's a huge resource. And now in the season of this pandemic and we're doing online, it's very unique in that you're able to go back and watch the recorded meetings. That is something that we haven't had before, and that is a very useful tool, especially if you're trying different meeting roles and you only observe one at a time. So the quote, you can observe a lot by watching. So this is really how I learned, because Toastmasters is a learn as you go program. And what I did as a new member, being very nervous, is I would watch people like a hawk, how they perform their meeting role. So if I was nervous, like for example, a personal example is, I was very nervous about being Toastmaster of the day, standing in front of a group of people, leading a meeting, keeping it on track. That made me very nervous. And I because I didn't know how to do it, and because I wasn't paying attention in the meetings, because I was listening to the speakers, I was doing other meeting roles. So what I did is I learned who were veterans Toastmasters, who were experienced in the roles, and then I watched them. So Tom is very experienced, and I watched how he did the Toastmaster role, every little thing, and how he handled this. If something unexpected came up, how did he do that? How did he do this transition? How did he introduce the speakers? Where did he sit? When we're in actual physical meetings, the Toastmaster sits at the front so they can minimize the time it takes to walk to the front and back when you're handing over the meeting to other members. So it's a very valuable resource. It's just paying attention and observing. And if you want to know, you're trying different roles, it's definitely focus on that role the whole meeting. Even if it doesn't seem like they're doing anything, they may be doing something. Like the timer is always timing, and the grammarian is always observing and always taking notes. So that's just something that I really wanted to go over, because it really helped me because I'm very visual. And even if I read the things that were online, what helped me really the most was observe those members perform those roles. And you can also learn how to make better speeches by watching the speakers and their evaluations, because if they've made any mistakes or have any room for improvement that their evaluator gives, you can add that to your toolbox in your database and use that when you're preparing your speech, just so that you can have a better delivery. And that is the end of the PowerPoint. So just to wrap it up, there are many resources provided by Toastmasters International. Please take advantage of all these opportunities during your Toastmasters journey, because they are really helpful and they will help you to achieve your goals for your personal growth. That concludes my talk. Do we have any questions about resources?
I don't have a question, but I really appreciate you. I never thought about the fact that the meeting itself is a resource. And that is so true. And I really appreciate you bringing that out and being more cognizant, because to me, I assign myself an action item of take notes on how people are doing things. And not just, I take notes on the speeches sometimes, but on how people are doing things and what I could possibly do better as a part of that role. So I appreciate you bringing that point up. That was a great point.
I'm glad that's helpful.
I would chime in to affirm what Chantain said, because as a newer member, that is how I learned how to do certain things, because I didn't know where this evaluation form was or was not, because I hadn't yet really started on my pathway and hadn't checked out the Toastmasters website too much, or I couldn't maybe find exactly what resource I'm looking for. So to your point, that it can be difficult, Sharon, but I would say, so I started to be able to learn how to do things. And when I was a table topics master, for example, I really only knew that I should comment on the impromptu speeches that each of my questionees provided, because I had watched other table topics masters comment in between them. And so I was thinking, okay, so commenting and positive feedback is part of a table topic presentation. And so you can learn a lot through the meetings.
Good. Thank you for reinforcing that is helpful. I hope that other members take that to heart. Do we have anything else? All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And remember, go check out those resources.